Welcome to Wanna Bet, the daily gambling game show that takes betting seriously, but not much else. Get our favorite plays on the totals, sides, props, exotics, and futures to jump on now. So let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Subject som kere konsolbappa konsolfelina. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben. Let's get it started with Jason and Ben.
Hey. Welcome to Wanna Bet. I'm Jason. That's Ben. This is Wanna Bet. We do this 7 days a week. We thank those who join us regularly. And if you don't, we urge you to stick around for a couple minutes here and see what you think. Better yet, stick around longer than that and watch what we do and watch how we keep score. Because unlike an industry full of bullshitters and mooks, we're actually fully transparent. What we're doing well, what we're not doing well. We work together to sort some things out at times. We're very interactive. Shoot us an email, wannabetwithus@gmail.com. And we're all trying to devise strategies and ways to be as profitable as possible in an industry that it's tough, man. It is tough. No computer has it figured out. No algorithm figured it out. We are betting on human behavior, and in many cases, very highly unpredictable human behavior. But we do our damnedest, and we do pretty well. So yeah, we do this 7 days a week. We're going to give you our favorite plays in the marketplace right now. If you are inclined to gamble on sports, couldn't hurt to check us out, see what you think, cross-check us, draw your own conclusions. First, second, third down are three favorite plays since yesterday's show. Fourth down, opportunity for long-term plays, long shot plays. Also, fourth and short could be something to get you paid quickly in a game. First quarter, first half, individual player performance, teams, totals, whatever, wherever we see potential value. Over time, we give you football and football parlays every day because, well, it's that time of year and we're actually running out of NFL inventory. And again, as I noted, we show our work in Beltway. Ben, you are the brains of this operation and you are the man behind pulling the levers there. So there you go. Look, it'd be real easy for me to pat myself on the back, but I'm incredibly pissed off that you know, we had a great read on that under in the Monday night game. We lost by a half point. We had it pegged to the Steelers money line, which really wasn't in doubt from the second quarter on. It really wasn't in doubt before the game started because Miami doesn't show up in those spots, and they didn't. But they still got enough bullshit and garbage time to push it over by a half point. I was talking to Ben last night. I texted him as soon as Jonnu Smith, Ben scored from 14 yards out, and the Steelers got a fourth touchdown, which I did not think was going to happen. I knew I was probably effed. And then all the garbage time from the Dolphins, we were definitely effed. Mike McDaniel playing to run out the clock and still pushing that game over, boy, that was something. If Warren gets that first down on the screen pass, and when I went to let my dog Chopper out to do his business, I'm sorry, not Chopper, Meatball, Chopper RIP, and they had awarded that a first down, I felt okay. I came back and they were punting, expedited review, I guess. But a lot of weird shit had to happen to push that game over. Why am I pissed? You know, often I would take that up to 44.5 or 45. I love the under more than anything else. Turns out it doesn't really matter what you love. That would have been another 3 units up, and I'd be juggling 3 lobsters right now and wearing a bib. But look, the Bournemouth match, that SGP hit by halftime. Watford won by 30. Gainwell had 5 receptions before the 2-minute warning of the first effing half. But it could have been a glorious night. It really should have been a glorious night. That was a dead under effing game that somehow effed us. Ben, the floor is yours.
Yeah, the ruck continued for me. By the way, the graphic says Anthony Davis lost. Anthony Davis didn't play, so we did get our money back with that bet. But Jalen Waddle, we were all over him. I liked him a lot last night. I thought when Tua did throw the football, it would be going to his wide receiver one. No, that wasn't the case, except for the jump ball that he threw up to a non-jump ball receiver. Tua's... don't even get me started on him. Oh, Mike McDaniel. Late in the game, you know, when it's time to probably push fast, if it's a 3-score game, if you actually want to play to win, why don't we go for it regularly and not half-ass it and then all of a sudden say, wait, we're only down 2 scores now. Like, that dude's a joke. Last night should have got him fired because I know there's been a lot of hype all of a sudden because they have won a few games in a row. So that loss, we lost the parlay because of that. If we would have gotten 14 more yards from Waddle, we cashed that parlay. Lost those. And then Freiermuth, he cashed for us. We had 2 good plays on Freiermuth. I liked him a lot in that spot. He went over the receiving yards with his first reception and caught a pass the following drive to get us over the receptions as well. So it wasn't a good night. It wasn't horrendous, but we gotta get our way out of this rut.
One more thing about last night. Hope you joined me on Wofford. Alt line laying 12.5 again. Covered that easy. And we also talked about Bruno Fernandes. We had the goal and assist. Also talked about Bruno Fernandes scoring a goal in that match. What really pissed me off last night, Ben, is I had over 2.5 and a Bruno goal tied to, and I don't do these cross sports stuff very often, the cross pollination. I had that tied to Pittsburgh money line and the 42.5. What are you going to do? That's why it's gambling.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we've been plugging away at a much better rate lately, and we want to get further into the green. And we've got a lot of interesting stuff to sort through today. So yeah, if you don't mind just pulling us back up. Thank you, sir. So let's get to it. First down. Let's take the Knicks on the money line tonight. This hasn't moved as much as I thought it would. Got it at minus 125 yesterday. It's at minus 130. So not a whole lot of movement there. Look, I just think the Knicks are the second best team in the NBA over the last 10 games. You look at any key metric, the only team that's outperformed them is OKC. Now, I know Wemby and the Spurs just beat OKC, Beltway Ben. I get all that. But it's his first game back from a long injury absence. That was kind of like a Super Bowl. They went all out. I just wonder if this is, I mean, you'd say NBA Cup final, not a letdown, but I wonder if it's a quasi letdown spot for them. I wonder if they take the Knicks a little bit lightly here. I wonder how much Wemby can really still play in this one after all the time he missed. And I look at a Knicks franchise that hasn't won any hardware in forever, right? I mean, since Willis Reed. I think it means a lot to them to try to win this little tournament here. And again, you look at them over the last 10 games, Beltway Ben, second in the NBA in net rating, third in assist to turnover ratio, fifth in rebounding percentage, fourth in effective field goal percentage, third in true shooting percentage, fourth in defensive net rating. That's a lot of top fives and a lot of key metrics. Could Wemby take this thing over? He certainly could. He certainly could. But I like the way Brunson's playing. I like the way Cat's playing. It is a neutral situation. There's a lot of New Yorkers who moved to Vegas. Maybe there's a slight advantage for the Knicks in Vegas. And there's a longer body of work of them being at a truly, truly elite, second only to Oklahoma City type level. And I as great as the Spurs have been, I just wonder if Wemby's on a little bit of a pitch count here. So I like the Knicks to find a way to win this game. Jalen Brunson, clutch gene. Maybe it's a last-second shot.
Yeah, I will get to that play in just a little while, or that game, sorry, in just a little while. But I'm going with college basketball, one of the best matchups of the night that you can see. Louisville versus Tennessee, and we're going to take Louisville's team total under 78.5 at minus 110. Shop around at 77.5 in a lot of spots, but you can find it on multiple books for 78.5 at a fair price. They've played 2 road games on the road, 74 and 80 points. That's been away from home. The rest of their games have been at home, and they've been dominant scoring the basketball. And like they've been a really good team. It's no knock to them. I love what Kelsey has brought to Louisville. I think he's going to have them back to where they once were. They're going to dominate the ACC over the next few years. Them along with Duke will be the top 2 dogs. But to me, in this spot, heading to Knoxville, facing a Rick Barnes-led squad, they're going to be in some trouble. Like, that's a team that is always going to play physical. They're going to be disciplined under him, and that student section is going to be rocking. We've seen it time and time again in some of these big matchups, and this is a Tennessee team a little bit banged up here, but I mean, they're a top 25 team. Like, they're going to be physical. You can't win shootouts against Louisville right now, and they've shown that. Yeah. Now, the one thing with Louisville, this is not me, taking any credit away from them, because their offense has been very good under Kelsey in 2 straight years, but a lot of their big scoring showings have been against lower major teams. Like that's just been where they've been at, and they've also been at home. I think when you take this to a true road environment in Knoxville with a physical defense, with a coach in Rick Barnes who's matched up with a ton of offensive-led squads, he knows what to do to stop it. He knows their only chance at winning this game is slowing it down, trying to make this into a slugfest, and just really an ugly game. That's how Tennessee's always been. They can score a little bit through the years with NIL getting better. They found some scores. They had Lanier last year. They get Gillespie this year. But still, that's not their heart. That's not what they do. Tennessee is always going to be known under Rick Barnes as an ugly basketball team, a defensive-first squad, and one that wants to muck it up. I think they'll do it here against Louisville. Give me the Cardinals team total under 78.5 points at -110.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. SEC, certainly not as dominant as it was a year ago. I kind of feel like this year's Big Ten might be last year's SEC.
Yeah.
Speaking of this year's Big Ten, huh?
Said, yeah.
Right? It's potential. It's potential. Let's go to East Lansing, Michigan, home of Sparty, home of Izzy, home of unders. Toledo comes to town. Let's play this under 151.5. If you pay any attention to this show or you read any of the stuff we do over at Hoops HQ, you know we love a good Sparty under at home. Sparty's 5-1 to the under at home this year. They are 7-1 to the under this season after a victory, and they are 6-2 to the under this year against non-conference opponents. Since the start of the 23-24 season, Beltway Ben, Sparty is 24-12 to the under against non-conference opponents, and Sparty is 28-12 to the under at home, no matter who they're playing. How about Toledo? Are they an up-tempo team? No. Are they a highly efficient offense? No. Can they turn you over a little bit and steal some possessions? Yeah. And maybe that helps them here keep us under. But Toledo's 5-3 to the under against non-conference opponents this season. This to me feels like an 80-60 game. If you're Izzo and you see where this team is, right, and you've played some Big Ten games already, now you've got a lull, Christmas break, exams, kids off campus, and then you ramp it back up for Big Ten. And they haven't been running and gunning, and Toledo doesn't run and gun. Like, do they need to score 85 or 90 here? Or does Izzo say, hey, I don't really love what I saw against Penn State? I like, let's hold these guys to below 60 tonight. You think we can clamp down and hold Toledo to 60? I think that's the charge to the team. And I don't know that they need to win this game by 30 points. Sparty's always an elite defensive team. Sparty's always a top rebounding team. And look, you look at Toledo, what are they the worst at? And they're bad at a lot of things. They can't defend the 2-point game. They can't defend inside. I think Sparty's content to lob it inside. I think they're content to play an old school game here. And I don't think Toledo gets to 65, and I'm not sure they get to 60. So this above 150, we like the under.
We couldn't go with a bowl game, second bowl game, because of course the Vegas Bowl had to try to compete with the Army Navy right after, whatever. But here we got a bowl game tonight, so we're going to play a college football prop, and you know I love my team total yardage props. We got burnt on Navy this weekend because a QB sneak up the middle, lost 7 yards. Don't even give me it. It is what it is. But that can happen. The good thing with passing yards, unless you have a guy running around, and in college you will have some of those joysticks type of guys that'll run and try to reverse things and turn things into nothing and lose yards. But for the most part, we're not losing yards with fumbles. We're not losing yards with a lot of things that you can with rushes. Sacks is a big one that is always costly. But here we're going to play Troy for 225 plus passing yards at -136. They got a matchup with Jacksonville State here tonight. Now, we'll start with Jacksonville State. What have they done against the pass? Conference USA Championship against Kennesaw State. They allowed 246. They played them just 4 weeks ago. Before that, Kennesaw State, 362 earlier in the year. And now, Kennesaw State's passing offense, it's been a roller coaster. Up and down, kind of all over the place. But to throw for a combined 600 yards in those games is shocking. And I think their passing defense is not very good. UTEP threw for 244. Middle Tennessee State, 235. Delaware, 422. Minucci was throwing the football all across the field throughout that game. They've allowed over this number in 5 of 7 matchups. This is a bowl game expect fun. You know these offensive coordinators get creative with their passing ways, and they want to hit the big play. They want to let some of these younger guys show what they can do, and I don't think that will be in the run game. Now, the quarterback situation is a question mark. Between Goose Crowder, who, when he's played, has been a dog. He's been very good throwing the football. Issue is he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He was in a boot after their conference championship game against JMU. They don't know if he's going to play. He's questionable. But even if he doesn't play, like, Gilchrist has started more games than Crowder has this year. That's just with the way Crowder's dealt with injuries. So this isn't a guy that we're chucking out there and hoping for the best. I think because of the bowl game, they're going to let him kind of open things up and try to throw the football down the field a little bit. And you're facing a passing defense who, as I mentioned, has really struggled. Now, the run defense hasn't been great either, but Troy's run offense has not been pretty all year. They don't really have a true number one running back. And their top guy really slowed down as the year went on. So give me their passing yards 225 plus in Troy at minus 136.
Love it. I'm going to be on Kennesaw State in a minute here. We are back on our Cal Baptist Lancers. We get them at home tonight against Southern. Southern is look, they're playing a crazy schedule. They're traveling all over the place. They've struggled with D2 teams. Like Southern's program is just in a tough spot. And I think Cal Baptist is going to the tournament. Cal Baptist has a backcourt where one of them's a great facilitator and the other one can go for 30 any given night. And I think he goes for 30 tonight. Cal Baptist hasn't shot the three ball as well as I think they can and as well as I think they will tonight. Cal Baptist has a legitimate 7-footer who can run, who can distribute. He's got pretty good vision, and he can obviously finish. And I think he's going to finish a lot against a Southern team that's lacking in size. Cal Baptist, one of the top 50 rebounding teams in the country, and I think they're going to feast tonight. Southern runs like crazy. Top 20 team in pace, but Beltway Bend, they're 230th in effective field goal percentage, and more to the point, they're 315th in opponents' effective field goal percentage. I don't know really what Southern does very well, except for play a whole lot of cash games on the road and play it at a manic pace. This is the first home game for Cal Baptist since November 21st. They've run a gauntlet as well. Beltway Bend, I think they win this game by 20 points. Maybe I'm really missing something here. They played with their foot a little bit against Eastern Washington. That got hairier than it needed to. But this is a Cal Baptist team that when they've played teams outside the top 125 in Ken Palm, they've tended to destroy them. They're coming off a nice layoff here since the weekend. They're 4-2 against the spread, are the Lancers, with 2 to 3 days off. And again, I think they can hang 90 here without playing a super efficient offensive game. And I think Southern's going to really struggle for second chance opportunities. So we like our Lancers again tonight. Minus 10.5, minus 110.
We will tail you on that. And I'll tell you why. I let you do the Cal Baptist research. You've been very, very spot on with them. So sometimes when someone's playing something and it's having a lot of success, let it roll. Let it roll. So that's where I am right there. As soon as I saw you send me Cal Baptist, I know how much success you've had with it. And I'm like, I'm just going to tail. I'm going to tail. Trust Jason on that one. So yes, I'm on that as well. And also Southern, you mentioned it with them. Some of those lesser teams playing for money and kind of getting bought out.
They've been on the road forever. Yeah. I think they got one eye towards getting the hell home for like I just go look at Southern's schedule.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Here for third down, we're going to go to this NBA matchup. Mikal Bridges, 2+ three-pointers made, and Karl Anthony Towns, 10+ rebounds at plus 142. Last night, I was 100% certain, had it written down in my notes with everything, that I was going to give out Mikal Bridges over 1.5 three-pointers made at minus 136. Turns out, by the time we started the show, it was at minus 170 everywhere. That was the best you could find, and I was pretty frustrated, but it is what it is. So instead, we're going to add in Karl Anthony Towns for a number that isn't guaranteed and try to get us some plus money here, which you can get at plus 142. Now, with Mikal Bridges, he's under this in 3 of his last 5, so he's only gone over twice. That being said, Anunoby came back and he shoots the ball a little bit. I get that, but Bridges is a pretty damn good shooter. And against the Spurs, the difference with Wemby on the court means stuff inside doesn't come as easy. You got to stretch them out a little bit. And if you look at the season totals, The Spurs are a really good three-point defense. But if you cut it down to when Wemby is on the court and how teams play them then, there are a lot more three-point attempts, and that's been a common theme. Right before he got hurt, they played the Warriors twice, and I was considering giving out team three-pointers with the Knicks, but ultimately I just went with Mikal Bridges here just to be a little safe with this one. But Bridges is going over this regularly to start the year. He shoots a lot of threes. We know we get good attempts. And we also know that he's playing starter minutes. I mean, he's a starter. He's one of their best players. And the shot has really improved from last year. I remember like in the offseason and early in the year, everybody was making fun of the way he shoots the basketball. But he's really improved. He's really dove into it. So I don't think he has an issue knocking down 2 tonight. Probably not going to get a million attempts. Like it'll probably be somewhere 5 to 7, somewhere in that range. But if he takes that many threes, I think that he will get the 2. Now, Cat for 10 rebounds. He went over this in the first 14 games of the year and was clearing it regularly. And even on the season, he's only gone under it about 6 times. The issue is 3 of those 6 are in the last 5 games. And that's a little concerning. You don't love that. But tonight, in a basic playoff game, like the NBA Cup is serious at this point. You're not in the quarterfinals anymore. This is the championship. You will win $1 million if you can win it. And that's a lot to some of these guys on the bench. Cat knows that. Cat's been in the league a while. Well respected. I do think he goes out there and plays pretty hard, which is why I also want to give out 12 plus rebounds at plus 122. If he's going to grab 10, he's probably going to get to 12. Like if you look in, I talked about those last 5 matchups where he's gone under this a bunch. In the games where he went over, he's got 16 and 18 or something like that, or 16 and 14. So the average is still up. I mean, he's averaging the second most rebounds in the NBA at just over 11 per game. So Cat's been aggressive on the gas. And I know when you have Wemby on the court, like he stretches guys out a little bit, and that concerns you a little bit with Cat, but this is a guy that's still been aggressive going after rebounds. He knows what his numbers are all the time. So give me Cat 12 plus rebounds at plus 122. And we're also going to play this parlay here. Mikal Bridges 2 plus 3-pointers made, and Cat 10 plus rebounds plus 142.
Do you have any thoughts on who wins this game?
Yes,
you were awful quiet when I gave out my Knicks money line. I just wonder, you
not fading you at all.
Have an elite NBA brain. If you had to flip a coin on this one, who wins?
I lean New York as well. I was considering tailing first down, and I don't know, just a little scared. And I agree with you with the first Wemby game back, and everybody jumps all over it. And like the Thunder are the best team in the NBA. I get that, but the Knicks, it's a different type of matchup. Like the NBA, it's all these different types of teams. It's not like the exact same thing. They shut SGA down. Can they do it with Brunson? We'll see. I think there's some stuff on tape that maybe you can attack more. And you talk about Wemby's minutes. I do have a play on him, but like he played 21 minutes. Now, damn good job of how they handled it. Bench him the whole first quarter, play him in important spots, and he was plus 20 in 4 minutes played. But yeah, I do lean the Knicks tonight.
Excellent. All right, 4th and long. I've got some longs here because one is, I guess, still a long time until it's played. 11 a.m. kickoff on Friday. Kennesaw State, baby, as Beltway Ben was just talking about. And then I've got a long reception play on Shaheed in the Thursday night game. And then I've also got another Shaheed play. Let's start with that bowl game. Look, I just think Kennesaw State's got the much better quarterback in this matchup with Western Michigan. I think Kennesaw State's going to be able to throw the ball on them, and Western Michigan can't throw the ball at all. And if they have to play from behind, I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Kennesaw State's had a little bit of horseshoe up their backside lately. The crowd was on them in that game against Jacksonville State. Didn't talk about it on the show, but I've actually bet them a few times this year and done fairly well with it. Western Michigan runs the ball 45 times a game. Are they going to be able to do that here? And especially if they're playing from behind, are they going to be able to get that kind of volume in the run game? I think Kennesaw State's the better team. I think Kennesaw State's the hotter team. I think the wrong team is favorite here, and you can still get plus 154 on Kennesaw State to win that weird-ass bowl game at 11 a.m. on Friday. We also like Shaheed to have a reception of 20 yards or more Thursday night. We were on him early after the trade. We got off of him. We wanted to see how this shook out. Is Sam Darnold going to finally start throwing him the ball? Are they going to realize they've got to expand the scope of the offense besides funnels to JSN in the slot and funnels to the tight end in the slot? Well, they have expanded it a little bit. So we're looking at Shaheed. He's over this in 3 of his last 5 games. He's got 12 targets in the last 2 games alone. 9 catches on those 12 targets. He's got 1 for 26. He's got 1 for 33. He's got 1 for 27. The Rams defense lately, don't look now, the secondary is starting to look like it did the end of last season. Big plays all over the place. The Rams have allowed 5 passing plays of 30 yards or more in the last 3 games alone. Opposing quarterbacks have thrown for 263 or more in 3 of the last 5 games. And Darnold threw for 280 on him the last time when Shaheed just got there. And he did go over this in that game when he just got there. And that's with them throwing 4 picks that took away a lot of potential volume in the pass game. This is obviously one of the elite deep ball getters in the league. That's why they acquired him, and special teams from New Orleans in the first place. And Darnold throws it deep more than anybody else. And the Rams are struggling against the deep ball right now. Bryce Young lit them up with 3 explosives over 30 yards. I thought about playing this over 30 as well, Beltway Ben, long reception of 30 plus. But instead, I played Shaheed to get 60 or more receiving yards at plus 320. These are bet 365. I don't think this is available anywhere else right now. He's got 67 and 74 in his last 2. You know the Rams are going to have to try to sell out a little bit here to take JSN away. And Shaheed might have 1 of 50 more. That's not out of the realm of possibility. And he can do it with a screen pass with Yak, or he can do it catching the ball 50 yards downfield. I don't think Seattle's going to try to run this thing to death. I don't think they can run really on the Rams that much. And I think they're going to try to attack them downfield like they did in the first meeting. And I think they're going to have more opportunities to attack him in the first meeting because I don't think he's throwing 4 picks this time out. 60 or more receiving yards for Rashid Shaheed plus 320.
For me today, I didn't find anything that I loved. Maybe I'll give something out here shortly after I give this play out, just because I went back and forth with it. Ultimately, didn't leave it in, but the more I've been sitting here thinking about it, I do kind of like it. But for now, we're just going to play this one. Mm-hmm. Victor Wembanyama over 14.5 field goals attempted at minus 140. A play that I really like for today. He was over this in almost every game to start the year. Now, last game he went under, and we talked about it with the minutes restriction before. He played just 21 minutes, did not play in the first quarter. They kind of timed it out the way that they wanted to ensure that he played in the most important moments of the game, and it led to a lot of success for that team. That being said, he got to the free throw line a lot, and the way that the Thunder were playing him was a little bit different than how I expect the Knicks to. The Knicks are allowing bottom 10 in free throws per game. Now, Wembanyama's an alien. I get all that. Yeah. But some of the underhand rolls that he gets to the free throw line with, I don't know that will be the case tonight, and that counts as a field goal attempt for us. When you look at some of these numbers, how we have to play it and what has to go right for us to cash these bets, those are the things. Him shooting threes late in the shot clock, him coming across half court and letting it go, which he does a lot. He's one game under his belt since returning from the injury, should be a little bit more comfortable. And one thing with Wemby, I've been saying it for a while, I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be the greatest basketball player of all time. Now that's injuries, a lot of things. I know it's a big shot to call. You don't call that.
But
early.
he's got that kind of potential.
He does. I mean, he really does. As long as he can stay healthy. As long as he can stay healthy, we just know the impact he has. That being said, I love Wemby, diehard fan, huge fan of his. This is a guy that I don't want to say prideful, but he wants to be a part of this win. He wants to have his fingerprint on it. He wants his shots going up. And sometimes in these big-time matchups, we see him start to get kind of shot happy and shoot more shots than maybe he regularly would. And you can't get mad as a Spurs fan because he finishes these buckets and he can go off and he can do all these things. But with that being said, for a prop like this, we need that. We need him to be shooting the basketball. I think with it being a championship, last game and playing just 21 minutes, does it tick up a minute or two? Hopefully. And when he's on the court, I think it's more early that he's looking aggressive, trying to score the basketball. And as the game goes on, if they're down a little bit late, I just wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little more shot happy and tries to take things into his own hands versus a De'Aaron Fox or Stephon Castle. So give me Victor Wembanyama over 14.5 field goals attempted at minus 140.
Excellent. All right, overtime. I don't do a lot of 4-leg parlays, but I'm taking a crack at one here early in the week where we can get the best odds. And again, I'm just going to tell you, this is bet 365 because this Houston 14, you can't find it in a lot of places except for 365. Texans minus 14 against the Raiders. And then give me the Bills over the Browns on the money line. The Eagles over the Commandos on the money line, and then Monday Night Football, San Francisco over Indianapolis, and Phillip Rivers on the money line. I mean, look, I may dabble on the Texans to pitch a shutout here in this game, depending on the odds. I mean, Vegas isn't scoring on anybody. They're not even trying to score. I mean, they can't crack 200 total yards a game. They can't run the ball for 80 yards a game as a team. The Texans are highly motivated. D'Amico Ryans has them frothing at the mouth. They're hitting big plays all over the place. The Raiders are the worst team in football. I mean, it's a big number, but it's not big enough to scare me off of that. Philadelphia on Saturday, does that give me a little pause? Could they blow it to Washington? I mean, they could. I feel like they played with their fruit a lot and paid for it. Washington, had they been going into this on a 10-game losing streak, I'd be a little fearful, but they got their little win over the Giants, and then the coach came out and said, Jaden's not playing anymore. I think Philadelphia can just stick to the run and keep it simple, stupid here, and find a way to win this football game. Philadelphia badly needs to string a couple of victories together. And actually, I like Philadelphia on the road more than I do at home, where the fans start booing them the first time something goes wrong. It won't be any real home field for Washington. It's a Saturday afternoon. I think Philly can win the game. Buffalo messed around and blew a game to the Dolphins, right? And Buffalo, even when they screw around like the Tampa game, like last week to New England, they come back and win. And they don't go down easy. And they still have a chance to win the division. I don't think they're losing to the Cleveland Browns. And then Phillip Rivers is going to beat San Francisco on Monday night? I mean, okay. There you go. Plus 312, bet 365.
All right, we got two. We have one plus 100 for tonight's matchup in the NBA. And we haven't had a lot of success with these here. The plus 100s, because last night we went back to another one, and it did not cash. So here, let me grab it with my thing on it. All right, there we go. We're going to go with Mikal Bridges, 10-plus points, Cat, 8-plus rebounds, Wemby, 15-plus points, and Mitchell Robinson, 4-plus rebounds, plus 104. I was talking about fourth down earlier, who I was kind of up in the air about, and I did see, just a few days ago how profitable Mitchell Robinson for over 1.5 rebounds in the first quarter has been, and you always risk how many minutes he's going to be, but when he is out there, he grabs boards, just how it's been. Ultimately, I did not play it, but that was a number that I was looking at. We'll start here with Bridges, 10-plus points. If I think he's going to hit 2 threes, there's no way he goes under 10 points. Some of these games have been kind of sweaty, but as the game has gone on, he's been able to get over it. And in those, sweaty type of games that I talk about, it's been blowouts. Are we going to get a fourth quarter? How many minutes do we get of him in the fourth quarter? You're telling me tonight, with the spread where it is and everybody with that TV on, you don't think these officials are going to make sure this game stays pretty tight? I think that's crazy. I think we'll get regular fourth quarter minutes. If we get a blowout, and the NBA is the National Blowout Association, if we get a blowout in the NBA Cup game, I'd be pretty disgusted. We got it last year. I don't think we'll get that this year. I think we should at least get 8 minutes from him in the fourth quarter. Cat for 8 rebounds. I talked about 10 before. 8's been something he's gone over all year. Like, if he doesn't go for 10, he damn sure should get 8, unless there's the foul trouble, which always scares you with the guy. But that hasn't been too much of the case so far for him this year. Wemby, 15-plus points. If he's taking 15 shots, like I said, he should be getting 15 points. Last game, he didn't and was still able to get to 20 points. I mean, this guy is different. I talked about it earlier. They call him an alien for a reason. You don't see many guys like him. You just don't. You don't probably won't ever again with his skill level. And every time you feel a little worried about his points, he drills a 3 from, 5 feet behind the line. So different type of scorer there. He can also get to the free throw line, as I mentioned earlier. I don't know that it'll be as much as it was last game, but I think he has 15 points in him. And then Mitchell Robinson, 4-plus rebounds, plus 104. I know sometimes you're risking things taking 2 guys on the same team, especially 2 bigs, but it works like that because Robinson will sub in for Cat at some point. When he's in the game, he's aggressive on the glass. The Spurs, as good as they've been, they're still bottom 15, right around the midway point in opponent rebounds per game. So I do think in this spot, Robinson's still able to grab 4. We're not going to get a lot of minutes from him, so hopefully we can get it early, get it out of the way. But if he has 3 in the first half, he'll grab 1 in the second. His number's a lot higher than that. I'm not too worried about that one. Screwing us. Now, the early college football playoff play for overtime. We're going with Miami on the money line and Ole Miss on the money line at plus 157. I am saying this now.
Lame Kiffin, F you.
I'm saying this now. It took everything in me to put Miami in there when you have Carson Beck and Christopher Fraud. Like, you have a feeling at some point Christopher Fraud is going to do something and screw you, and I'm gonna come back here Sunday morning and just kicking myself, saying I'm an idiot, I was stupid. Why would you do that? He might be in there. Red? Yeah, I think yellow. Yeah, I think yellow. That was a while ago that I stopped taking him. Yeah.
This is it for these bozos.
It is, but at least they're underdog here. Like, at least we're getting value. We're not spending juice to try to get them. We're getting some value. They're plus money at Texas A&M. If this was a neutral site game, I'd feel a lot better. A&M, with where they are and how that home field advantage plays, it's tough. Fully get that. But with Miami, I just think they're a better football team. A&M, like, they haven't been great. They've been great, but they haven't played a lot of great opponents. Miami hasn't either. I get that. But I think when you look at on paper, now again, took quarterback and head coach into account when doing this. This is the upset for me. There's a lot of people talking about Miami sneaking in after Notre Dame, which I have no issue with the complaints, because to me, if you say something 2 Tuesdays ago, how can you change it the following week based off of nothing? That's garbage. It's the typical NCAA selection committees just being absolute trash. But here we are. I think for this spot, Miami, here's everybody talking about them. They have a really good football team. They haven't performed the way they should, but as the year went on, a little bit later in the year, we finally saw them start changing a little bit. And in some spots where people were saying Miami's the upset pick of the week, they blew teams out. So I do think they played better football down the stretch, and I see them winning this game. No Ole Miss on the money line. That was the toss in to get us up to plus 157. I see zero chance of this team losing to a non-Power 5 school. Like, they had to force two of them in
to prove a point, right?
Yeah, and the coach, like, he's coached at Alabama. He's coached in a lot of big spots. Like, this isn't some new guy they just chucked in there. I trust him a lot. I think he actually might have more success there than Lane Kiffin did, because Lane Kiffin's just a pure scumbag. So we're taking Ole Miss here. I think they're going to beat Tulane. It's a big-time game here for both squads. It's a home game. Ole Miss already handled them. And Miami, talked about before. If the coach and quarterback screw me, went down with a fight. So give me those two on the money line at plus 157.
Excellent. That is our show. Beltway Ben again, because we're fully transparent here at the start and the finish. We bookend it with how we've done since our first show, May 21st, 2025, as we head towards 2026. Almost a 3 lobster night last night. Again, that under the High Point team total and the Elon team total, those are going to stick with me for a while. And Arsenal conceding a goal on literally the one spell of possession that Wolves had that entire game. That was something. They couldn't even win to 0. F me and a bunch of other parlays. So that's the show. We appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, hit us up, wannabetwithus@gmail.com. You can, if you're like, can't always watch us live here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can subscribe, get the download automatically. We appreciate all that. However you consume our media, read us at Hoops HQ with my buddy Seth Davis. And tune in tomorrow at noon when we'll be back. More bowl games, regular NBA plays, no Champions League for a while. But obviously one day closer to Thursday Night Football, I've made more plays on that game. I want to get them to you before we get to Thursday to try to keep some value there. And a lot of college basketball as well. So thank you for tuning in. You want to bet, we want to bet. Thanks for betting with us.